Let's do it. Let's do it. So we got Adam Desimone. And I spoke to this gentleman. It had to have been about 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe three. It was maybe about 3 years ago. We were talking about the Clover opportunity, and for whatever reason, we didn't get started together. He was, heavily involved in his business as his own company doing financial planning. And about, I don't know, midway through October, November, he reached out again and says, "Man, I really need some help about getting back into Medicare." As many of you guys know, the whole financial planning industry has changed dramatically with the stock market challenges and 401ks having their issues. And he was looking at this again as an opportunity and got started. And I aligned him with Josh Shin. And he's taken off for the year, and he's in our top 5 with 60 enrollments for OEP. And he's doing it part-time. He's still doing his financial planning and his ministry, but part-time, 60 enrollments. Can you imagine if you went full-time with it? And Adam's on the call today. He's going to share his secret. So Adam, are you there?
Hey, Tony, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Adam, congratulations, man.
Hey, thanks a lot, Tony. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. And I'm just thrilled and really happy for you to see you really take hold of it. Because I remember that call when we connected right around AEP last year. And, I don't know if you remember that call or not, but I do. It was just like, man, it works. Just take that leap of faith. And you did. And look what happened. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was overthinking it a little bit, and you kind of brought it back to light. Like, listen, you just got to get to work. Josh obviously is great. He knows what he's doing. I really appreciate you linking me up with him, and just getting in there and talking to him about, just getting started. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to know everything about everything. Just get on the phone and get started.
Yeah, it's kind of like the faith of a mustard seed, man. A little
That's
faith. I told you could do it. I said it's not that hard. I do think that, Adam, you're right. I mean, it's John Gordine uses this phrase a lot: paralysis by analysis. Some people overthink Medicare because it can be complex if you make it. You keep it simple, as you've done and you've seen it being done. It works. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's like that. There's a success formula, and there's every letter stands for something, but the last S is start. And it just means you have to start for any of the rest of it to work.
Right.
And if you don't get going, nothing else really matters if you're not starting. So I think that call was really helpful in getting that, into my mind, that you really had to get going. And then once you get going, it's just setting up some structure and making sure you stick to that to be consistent.
All right. Well, I know we're going to go a little bit into your secret sauce, Shirley, but where are you from originally, Adam?
From upstate New York, just north of the Albany area.
Okay. And you now reside in New Jersey, correct?
Yeah, I'm in northwestern New Jersey, right near the Pennsylvania border.
Okay, great. And where'd you go to school?
I went to University of Albany for college.
Okay, and you got into financial planning. What year did you get into financial planning?
It was 2005, right when I graduated. I didn't get a degree in finance. I just knew somebody who worked on Wall Street, and just kind of got thrown into it. And I've been doing that since.
Okay. And I recall when we had dinner a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned you had your own ministry as well.
Yeah, so I ministered. I was a associate pastor for a few years at a church in New Jersey, and now I primarily just have an online ministry comprised of, as a YouTube channel, and I'll still travel from time to time. My brother has a church out in Michigan, which I travel and minister at. So yeah, still active in that as well.
Awesome, Adam. Awesome. So how did you fall in? I mean, you were a financial planner, and I'm sure things for a while were really, really good in that industry, because I can even remember just a few short years ago was an amazing bull market. What changed?
Yeah, so I'm 41 now, and I feel like I've had 3 lifetimes in this business. So built up a business that I ended up selling in early 2016, that was in the kind of investment planning and wholesaling arena. And after that, I was really taking a look at, like, what do I want to do next? And, I still wanted to stay with financial planning, but I had talked to some people about getting an insurance license and the opportunities within insurance, specifically in life insurance. So I ended up getting my life and health in 2016, and linked up, in addition to doing some financial planning with individual families, also doing some life insurance as well. And that's kind of where I got introduced to Medicare. So, somebody had said, if you're talking to people who are over 65 already, just ask them what they got going on with Medicare.
Right.
And that was really my intro into the kind of insurance and Medicare business.
Well, when I met you for dinner, and we had that little heart-to-heart conversation about, your beliefs, which, you and I are already connected on that level, which was impressive to me, and what you've done in the ministry. And, when you mentioned why you're in this business, I knew you had the it factor. And when you explained to me about your heart for the people that we serve, can you go into that a little bit deeper so people can understand your passion for Medicare?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want anybody to get the impression I'm just over spiritualizing this. I'm in it to make a living for my family. Like, obviously, if the commission part was taken away, I don't know that I would still do this. But you could do a lot of things to make a buck, and the feeling that you get helping somebody, it really does make the difference of feeling like you're actually making an impact. So with financial planning, you definitely help people. You help people understand things about their finances, but most of these people are going to be fine whether you meet them or not. Right? It's just, where do I put my money? Not, do I have any money? And what I found with the Medicare folks that we're honored to be able to serve, a lot of them, whether it's LIS or dual eligible, is you're making an immediate impact in this person's life and health. I'll give you an example. When I earlier this year, Josh, who knows these programs inside and out, helped me get my father and mother-in-law onto PAD in New Jersey, which is a pharmaceutical assistance program for people who don't know, which they qualified for and just didn't know how to sign up for, which I think a lot of people don't. My father-in-law takes a COPD medication that he had been stretching out because he couldn't afford to buy it every month. He needed it every month. He was going once every 90 days. And now he was able to get it every month because of that PAD program. And then, subsequently, signing up for, a Medicare Advantage plan. And calling and getting thanked and seeing how thankful my wife was, and that's the kind of impact that I want to have. You're literally changing. You could be changing the course of somebody's life because now their health care has been improved, and
Man.
and you're doing it for people who maybe are overlooked by other agents or just parts of this business who they say, well, don't go into that neighborhood, or don't call those people, or these people don't have any money. That's typically where I came from. Was you wouldn't talk to these people because they didn't have any money, and because that's what you were dealing in was financial planning. They had to have money for you to help them. Now that's not a qualification anymore. As a matter of fact, the more in need they are, the more chances you have to help them. And I feel like, again, there's a lot of things that you can do to make a living in this business. If you're helping the people who really need the most help and you're having the biggest impact on their lives, that's where I want to take my career for however much longer, I'm blessed to be able to do this.
Amen. Well, that's one thing I had to look at too, Adam. I came from the Wall Street world briefly, ended up in my van, and so I found a lot of called stockbrokers end up broke. So I understand that realm. But what excites me the most, especially about our industry, it's very stable. It's not glamorous, but it's stable. But even more importantly about Medicare, specifically Medicare Advantage, you do get to help the most vulnerable. It is kind of a calling, like a ministry. Yes, and we get to make nice, 6 and 7 figure income doing it, which is exciting in terms of being able to provide for our family and to do the things we want to do to impact our community and leave a legacy. But it's nice to know that we're like social workers, but we're able to command, a high level income doing the service, providing the service to the clients. And I think everybody gets an aha moment, Adam, and you had yours. I don't know if that's the right phrase or not, but for me, where your passion kicks in moment. Maybe that's a better way to say it. When you help your family, mine was, helping out a guy that, lost one of his legs and they were getting ready to amputate his second leg. And, I put him into, back then it was called Bravo Health, and they were able to save his other leg. And he wrote me a letter saying, if it wasn't for you, I'd be, I would have my other leg amputated. And if I would have met you a year earlier, I'd have both my legs because he had severe diabetes. they amputated, his leg. So I think everybody has that moment in this business that you get why you're doing it. It's more than just the money. See, I always said that, Adam, if you do what's right and have a true passion of serving others in need, the money will follow. And you're already seeing that. And so I'm very, very impressed by, that statement you made to me at dinner. And I just want you to share that with the group in terms of, I think everybody has to have their why. And I think you found your why. And I mean, if you're just doing it for the money, you're not going to last in this business. You got to do it for something bigger than just the money. You agree with that?
Yeah,
Adam?
I agree. I totally agree with that. I do. And I've always felt like this pull into the Medicare business, it kind of like I couldn't shake it. Over the last 6 years, it kept popping up. Like your emails kept popping up. It just kept kind of pulling me back for some reason. And this year I decided, like going into 23, was I'm going to make this a focus now. There's some reason that this is still constantly being like, I'm still getting emails about it. I still feel a pull towards it. And yeah, I want to thank you again for just, helping me find the opportunity here.
Well, yeah, and we're honored to have you, Adam. It's a blessing. It's like, in football, when I coached for 13 years, we used to call it they got religion, and when I got the chance to be in the insurance industry, Mr. Art Williams back in the day used to say the same thing. He was an old football coach. And he said, you got to get to the point where people get religion, they get religion for the business. They get it. It clicks, and I think now it's clicking for you. And so it's exciting to see it click for you because I want that for everybody, Adam. I truly do not. I never give up on anybody. I know we met several years ago, and same thing with Josh. It's just, now and then, I check in. How you doing? Now and then you'll get an email, and like you said, it is a calling. And just like you got called into the ministry and I got called into coaching, and which was like another ministry. I think it's a calling to be in this business. And so Adam, thank you for sharing, your personal story, about your family. And I wanted you to then now talk a little bit about the mechanics, Adam, behind what you do. Because everybody on this call is licensed to do the same thing. They're contracted in multiple states. They have the same lead opportunity. They have the same opportunity you have. Can you go through the mechanics of what you're doing? Because Josh shared with me your secret. And he says, Tony, make sure Adam shares his secret sauce. Can you dive into that for us for this meeting, please?
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope everybody gets something from this. I always, when I listen to calls like this, I always want to walk away with something that I can use right away. And it's not going to be groundbreaking, I'm telling you now. And it might go contrary to what you've heard. So really the only thing I track is activity. Obviously, I track my sales from the standpoint of entering them in and knowing where I'm at. But I don't really look, that's not really my goal. My goal at the end of every day is a certain level of activity. And if that leads to 5 sales or no sales, I don't care. I wash my hands and I move on with my day. And the consistency of doing that day in and day out, I think, is what leads to a consistent level of production. The consistency in your activity is always going to show in the consistency of your production. And, that's why I've always tried to have a base level of activity in whatever times that I'm setting. So if you're a Monday to Friday kind of person, set a certain level of activity that you're going to do every day and do it, and then end your day. That's just how I've always worked. Because what I found is if I try to chase different things every day, I'm not consistent, and my sales, my enrollments will show in that. Well, whatever business it is, whether it was in financial planning, life insurance, Medicare. So I'll just give you this is just a number, just so you can get an idea what I'm talking about. If you're going to call 10 people every day, Monday through Friday, so you say, I'm going to call 50 new names every single week in and week out. And I'm going to call those 10. And when those 10 calls are over, I am moving on with my day. I am done for the day. Now, the catch is that you don't miss a day. So it's not, I called 10 and then, Tuesday I wasn't able to get to it. So I'm going to call 20 on Wednesday. I wasn't able to get to somebody 20 on Friday. It's about having a consistency in your activity that's going to lead to the consistency in results. And, what I've found myself personally at times is I initially try to bite off more than I could chew. I liken it to like when I was a personal trainer, people wouldn't be working out and they'd sign up for the gym and they'd want to do 5 days a week and cut all carbs and cut their calories and make a huge change to their life. where the chance of that habit sticking is very low because of the amount of change you're introducing at one time. However, if you say, I'm going to go to the gym once a week, I'm just going to cut out soda, chances are you're going to stick to that. And then once you've stuck to that long enough time and form that habit, now you can change it to 2 days a week. And now you can cut out also, soda and bread, whatever it is. Same thing works with sales. Is if you are saying, I want to do a level of activity that I know I can stick to day in and day out for whatever my schedule is that I'm setting, and I'm not going to break that. Like, I'm accountable to myself and I'm not going to break that. So if it's Monday through Friday, 10 dials a day, I am going to stick to that. And if I can't do 10 dials a day, I'm going to do 5, or I'm going to do 2, or I'm going to do 1. There has to be a base level of activity that you know that you can stick to for your schedule, no matter what happens. Like, I mean, you're in business here, so there has to be a certain amount of work that you put into this, to make it successful. So it's sticking to that activity and then moving on. Like if I, say it was to call 10 leads in a day, and I call 10 leads and I get, no answer. Nobody even picks up. I had a good day. I accomplished what I set out to do that day, and I had a good day. Now that next day, I do the same thing and I get 3 sales. You know what? Obviously that feels better, but I did the same level of activity. I had another good day. And however many of those good days you can stack on top of each other is going to determine how consistent you are over months and years. It's not a 1 day, 1 week kind of thing. It's looking at, where do I stand at the end of this quarter, the end of this year? And then, you can track your activity over time. If you're not getting the results you want, it's most likely because your activity is not where it needs to be. There could be fine-tuning things where you're saying the wrong thing on the phone, or maybe you don't know the product well enough, but that usually comes quick if you have enough activity. So that's really the secret sauce, Tony. I hope it wasn't over, people
No, Adam,
think it was going to be more than that.
No, you did great. You did awesome, man. And something I've been stressing a lot to people since I've been in this industry. People used to ask me back in the day, how did you write all those apps? And to me, like you said, it's activity. I learned that from Tom Hopkins. I mean, you guys know Tom Hopkins, and he used to teach that every no has a dollar sign behind it. So we used to say every no is $100, because every yes was worth, back in those days, $300. Of course, it's worth a lot more now. But, it is an activity game. Sales is just a numbers game. And I would say, Adam, I concur 100% to that secret sauce, because that is the secret sauce in sales. You don't even have to have the best closing ratio or the best sales ability. You even said it. Sometimes you could be saying it wrong, but it really doesn't matter. It comes down to your activity formula. I had the worst probably closing ratio of anybody when I first started in the business. I wasn't good at this, but I had a higher activity formula. That's why I was able to beat everybody. And that's what you're doing. It's activity, because there's people that know more about this product than you do, Adam, that won't write 60 hours in a year. You know what I mean? But the thing is, you're doing the same amount of work ethic in, say, a week that takes them a month. You see what I mean? So it's all a numbers game. It's just a numbers game, Adam. And you said it perfectly. You stick to consistency. I love your analogy about going to the gym, because I'm a big gym rat myself. When I see these people do the same thing every January, same group of people, overweight, they're going to make a decision. They go all out for a month, and in February, you don't see them again. And they come back the next January to do it again. So it's consistency. Give up, make those little subtle changes. I think too many people try to take one gigantic bite out of that elephant versus one little bite at a time, and just build on the habit of doing the little things right. So great job, Adam. What else would you like to share, Adam, in regard to, say, what kind of, like, I'm sure someone on the call is thinking this or wants to ask this question, but where are you getting your leads from? How is your marketing go? What type of, how are you getting your activity?
Yeah, so it's a combination of things. So sent out some mailers for PAD, which is the Pharmaceutical Assistance Program. Got some age leads through the system that you guys already had. Have been invited to, because I've been writing apps, have been invited to United Healthcare Call Blitz, which I'm actually outside of one right now. About to walk back in, and they give you lists of dual eligible folks to call. And I sold a few the last time I was here. So it's a variety of things. The leads, you know, I spend, you know, if you spend most of your energy trying to make sure that you're set up with enough names to call, whatever names those are, at the beginning of each week or each month, everything, I'm fine. I feel okay after that. I don't worry anymore after I already know that I have people to call. So I spend most of my energy just making sure I got somebody to call, I got a lead in front of me, and then I know everything else is going to work itself out. Like that, the rest of it is going to fall into place, because that those amount of leads are going to let me have a consistency of activity, and then that consistency of activity is what's going to allow me to have a consistency of results. So it's a variety. I wouldn't say there's one like magic lead that I have right now, but it's just been a combination of things. So, you know, dropping a little bit of mail, taking some of the aged leads that are there, and then, you know, United Healthcare, you know, writing some business with them, and then them, you know, inviting me to a couple of these call blitzes where they give you some free names to call.
That's awesome. Awesome. So you're working multiple lead resources. So you're working on follow-up age leads. You're working leads that you're getting for referrals. You're working leads through the carrier. That's one thing I've always stressed to guys. If you do really well with a carrier, they're going to know who you are. And that local BSR sales director is like, hey, we got to hook that guy up, because here's why. They get incentivized by whoever's in their market writing business. So they're going to make sure you get, you know, the highest quality leads they have on hand, because ultimately it helps their bottom line as well. So great job, Adam. It's not just one lead resource. You're doing multiple lead resources. Am I correct by saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, one thing will be a little bit hotter one month and one will dry up a little bit, you know, in the next month. So, and I found that with life insurance, we used to do direct mail. You know, we had some stuff coming through Facebook. We have age leads. So it was just having enough there to call in every
Okay.
one given week or month.
So can you explain the pad real quick? So some people that are on the call may not know what that is. Not every state has a state pharmaceutical program. The pad is the one for New Jersey. Can you just explain in a couple minutes what that is for the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's you know, basically if you're under a certain income level within the state of New Jersey, it's about 49,000 for a couple, 42,000 for an individual. You'll qualify for the state pharmaceutical assistance, which will just cap your prescription costs, but it also opens up a window for you to be able to enroll, and it would cover, you know, premium on certain plans, you know, depending on what plans are available in your area. So it's just opening up the window and giving people access to plans that they might not have access to otherwise. Uh, a lot of these people, when you talk to them though, with the mailers, they already have 100% LIS because of who they're mailing to. So they don't necessarily even need the pad to open up, you know, a special window to enroll. It's just, it's obviously, you know, helpful if they don't have 100% LIS, but it's just getting you in touch with
Right.
people who are kind of in the target demographic that we're looking for these plans, and just having a discussion with them and seeing how we can help.
So you're saying extra help and pad are very kind of similar, correct?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it operates similar for you to have an SCP if you need it
Right.
for one.
So for you new people that are listening to this, PAD is for New Jersey. Maryland has one called Maryland SPAT. Pennsylvania has one called PACE and PACEnet. Delaware has one called DPAT. New York has one as well. Many states have them, mostly in a higher, you know, income states that have a higher standard of living. Of course, higher taxes too.
Yeah.
They have these tools, but in every state in America, all 50 states have what's called extra help, the LIS program, low income subsidy program. And at least once a quarter, anyone that's in that category has a chance to change Medicare Advantage plan once a quarter, which is a great opportunity. We're wrapping up our first quarter. That cycle starts over April 1st. So they haven't done it this quarter. They can do it now, but they've already made a change for the last quarter. Those who are on extra help can actually make another change again starting April 1. So I wanted to drop that in there as a note, Adam. So any final words, Adam, for the team as we wrap up? Because then I want to open it up to some questions from the team.
Just the consistency of activity. That's the biggest thing. Whatever a level of activity that you can consistently do is going to be where your results are, and you're going to earn those results by your activity. So if you're part-time and you're saying I can only call X amount of people or run X amount of appointments per week, the results, that's what they're going to be. And the way to make them more consistent is just keep your activity consistent. I don't even worry about where the sales end up. If I notice that I'm tracking way under where I had anticipated as far as sales goals, yeah, I might want to take a look at ramping up my activity. But I think the consistency is more important than, trying to crush it one week and then lay off the next, because it's just going to make it feel more like, you're running your own business and you're showing up every day and you're getting it done.
Great. Thank you. And I know we have Josh on the line too, and I know he's been your mentor. You mentioned Josh earlier. Josh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Tony. If you can tell, I'm a little under the weather, so
That's okay.
my voice is a little strained, but I'm here.
Okay. Anything you want to open it up with the Q&A session with Adam real quick, or any comments you'd like to make?
Adam really touched on it well. Adam is just so consistent. I've never met somebody so consistent that says, I'm going to dial 2 hours every single day. And that's what it is, because if you could do one app a day, one app a day is 5 a week. That's 20 a month. But if you take 1 day off of that goes to four a week instead of 5 a week. If you take 2 days off, that goes to 3 a week, and all of a sudden you're at 12 apps for the month instead of 20. And so Adam is just very disciplined. He's very consistent, and that's why he's successful.
Amen. Amen. So let's go ahead, Michael. Let's go ahead and open up. I know there were some questions earlier I saw chatted in. Go to the Q&A slide. Go ahead. I think there was one earlier from Carrie Brandy. Go ahead, Michael.
It looks like there was a request for your YouTube ministry, Adam.
Okay, yeah, sure. It's called Back to the Cross. So if you Google that and it were entered into YouTube, you should be able to find it that way.
Okay, great. Other questions for Adam?
Hi, Adam. This is Willie Mae Alexander from Chicago. How are you?
Good. How you doing this morning?
Great. I just want to congratulate you on your presentation. It was clear, concise, and to the point. And I took 3 points from what you said, and I'm going to stick with these for life. When you had indicated activity, consistency, and then it's another one, but you said, even if you don't write anything that day, but you had activity, you were consistent, you said that was a good day. And I kind of listed that as a reward, because I think sometimes we as agents, if we don't actually send in an enrollment, that's a negative mindset to us. But you made it clear that that's a reward, because you got out, you did what you were supposed to do. And even if you didn't accomplish anything, you planted the seed. And it may not come that day, but it may come the next day. So you should reward yourself. And I think that's one of my weaknesses. I don't reward myself enough. So I just want to thank you. It was a great presentation, and I took away a lot. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. You said it better than I did, actually. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you got something out of it. You won that day. If you did the activity that you set out, you won that day. And don't convince yourself otherwise, because the numbers are the numbers. They're not going to lie. They're not going to betray you. You talk to enough people, you make enough calls, you do enough events, whatever your marketing strategy is, you do enough of it, the results are going to come. Now, you might have a dry stretch. I've had it. You've had it on the phone where you call 30 people in a row, nobody picks up. It's all voicemails. People tell you they're already good. It doesn't matter, because over a long enough period of time, those numbers are not going to lie. They're going to work out in your favor if you stay consistent with them. It's just that time. And I've been there. We've all been there, where you get enough no's in a row, or you get enough just no answers in a row, or enough days without making a sale, that you start to question it. And the key is that at those times, you don't change the course, right? And especially if you're working with somebody who, that's why I'm glad to have Josh. Josh knows more about this than I do. Josh is very successful. If I have any doubts about anything, I can ask him, and he'll be like, no, you're on the right track. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's going to work out in your favor. So yeah,
Hey, Adam.
just keep the activity consistent. You'd be great.
Hey, Adam.
Hi.
Yeah, this is Joe Walker. Hey, I've been doing this business since I retired from the military, and been doing a lot of training and everything. And I got to tell you, this was probably one of the single best training sessions that I've heard about how to keep your mindset, how to focus on activities. I honestly am going to be using this tape and snippets of, with your permission, to train all of my folks and understanding the commitment and the consistency to their business. Very, very well done today, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, Joe, thank you for your service. First of all, and second of all, I really appreciate that. Anything you ever need, feel free to reach out. I gleaned a lot of this from where I started with life insurance, which was Family First Life. Still love a lot of the guys over there, good friends, and the diligence they have towards their activity. It really reformed my mind. It changed my entire outlook on this business and really any sales-based business. So I have to give a lot of credit to Sean, Mike, Mark Mead, a lot of those guys over there. They just have such a disciplined mindset that they get out and do every day. And at least, obviously, the results speak for themselves. But thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Yeah, yes, you absolutely can use this with my permission. I don't know what other permission you need from Tony, but you definitely have mine.
Great stuff. Great stuff. What
Thanks,
else
sir.
do we have? Michael, any others that have chatted in?
Nope, pretty quiet
Cool.
on the chat line.
Yeah, cool. Good stuff. Adam, I want to thank you again. You've been a huge blessing. And I couldn't say it any better than you did. It is about the activity and being consistent. And you are very disciplined. And that's what it takes to be successful in this business. But what I got most from you, especially the visit I had with you in New Jersey, the dinner we had with Josh and several others that night, was your passion for people. You know, you can see the good Lord has blessed you and has favor in your life. You're doing it for the right reason. And I can see why seniors would want to do business with you, whether it's for financial planning, helping them out with whatever needs in that regards, but also with their Medicare. You have a genuinely good heart and you do care about people. And that's why I know you're going to do extremely well in this business, because you have the tools. But you have the right tool, in my opinion. You have God first in your life, and everything else will take care of itself. And you're doing this for the right reason. And you're doing this because you want to change lives. You want to help people. And that resonates. So many people call me and it's all about the money and all about, their exit strategy and becoming, having $10 million in the bank, and how do I become an integrity partner? All that stuff's great, and I can help people do that. But you're like, man, I love this business because I get to help people, on a whole different level. People that truly need to help, I get to do that. And yes, you're helping people with their financial planning, but you got guys that are in that realm that have 10, 15 million, 20 million already. You're going to give them guidance. Obviously, yes, you are helping them, but in our industry, we're helping people that have about $1,100, $1,200 a month to live on, and that's it. They don't have any savings. They don't have a net worth, maybe a little bit of equity in their home, and that's it. And what better calling that you can help change those people's lives and still do your financial planning, which is great. You don't have to give up that trade. You just enhance what you're doing now, and you're able to touch more lives. And that's what I appreciate most about you, Adam. You're a man of God, and your actions speak much louder than your words, and what you've done in terms of your community and what you're doing to change, the average person's out there, standard of living. I mean, it's incredible, what you're able to do. And I see you got religion for this business, man. And I'm proud of you, and I'm proud for you. I know the best is yet to come. I have no doubt you're going to make a great team leader very soon in our organization.